So here's a name I haven't had to say in at least a year. Christina Bobb. Now, some folks may immediately remember like, oh God, yeah, I remember her. Others may have forgotten because, hey, let's face it, there's new crazy news every single day of the week. But for those who may not remember, Christina Bobb has been at the center of a lot of Donald Trump's legal problems and is in the middle, I should say, of facing her own legal problems for her involvement in the fake elector scheme. She was indicted last year in Arizona, and of course, we are still waiting for the outcome of that. Christina Bobb was also named in the defamation lawsuit by the voting companies against the One American News Network, where they actually used several of her personal clips while she was a host to get the network to agree to a massive settlement. Christina Bobb is also the person who gave the lying letter to federal authorities swearing that Donald Trump had, returned all of those stolen documents. We can't find them anywhere in Mar-a-Lago. Obviously, they're all back. Had that case not been thrown out, there was a good chance, according to the reporting, that Bobb herself may have faced criminal charges, but she did end up having to talk to the grand jury. So that's a brief history of Christina Bobb. And for the record on that last one, Evan Corcoran is the one who allegedly drafted the lying letter. Bobb is the one who signed off on it and gave it to the feds. So I'm telling you all of the backstory of this horrible woman who, again, as far as I can see, is still facing those criminal charges from last year's indictment. She came out this week to celebrate the fact that a judge in Michigan, I believe erroneously, dismiss the fake elector charges against 15 fake electors in Michigan from the 2020 election. And then Bobb went on to tell the sob story about how these poor people, who, very obviously kind of broke the law, have lost everything, including their homes. Here's what Bobb told Steve Bannon this week. The mainstream media has dubbed it as the fake electors case. They were not fake electors. They were legitimate Michigan Trump electors that had created an alternate slate of electors in order to preserve their right to cast their vote should Donald Trump win his challenge in the 2020 election. I'm going to continue in just a minute, but I love this. Like, they weren't fake. They were just alternate in case our lies actually worked. They weren't the real electors, though, and by definition, that means they were fake. Biden won the state. Your challenges were based on lies. These people never should have had the charges against them dropped, and I will get more to that in just a moment, or thrown out, I should say, by the judge. But then Bobb continued. Some of them have lost homes. I've got friends that have lost their homes because they couldn't pay their legal bills and their mortgage and everything that's going on. That's sad, right? It's even sadder coming from the party of personal responsibility. Now, not everybody may remember that phrase, the party of personal responsibility. But for the longest time in America, going back long before the days of Reagan, the Republican Party billed itself as, quote, the party of personal responsibility. Lift yourself up from your bootstraps, right? The decisions you make in life, you either deal with the rewards or you deal with the consequences. It's all on you. You make your choices. You live with the consequences. And they became that to try to say that all these people, on the social safety net programs like welfare, SNAP benefits, Medicaid, you guys made bad life decisions, so you shouldn't get federal benefits. That's why they did this. So if you expect us to give a damn about these individuals losing everything they had because they signed onto a document saying that, yeah, we're going to pretend to be something we're legally not allowed to be, I have no sympathy for them. In fact, I'm pissed off that the judge dropped the charges to begin with, even though, of course, there are still fake electors cases going in many states, including the one in Arizona that Bobb is a defendant in. But here is what the judge said this week when she tossed the case against the Michigan fake electors. She said, this is a fraud case and we have to prove intent. And I don't believe that there's evidence sufficient to prove intent, said Judge Kristen Simmons in Lansing, Michigan. I don't believe there's enough evidence to prove intent, she told the prosecutors as she tossed all the cases. Guess what, Judge? This is a jury trial. You do not have the legal authority to tell prosecutors they can't prove it, or you think they can't prove intent. That's the thing. She didn't say you can't prove intent. She said, I think you can't prove intent. And when you're a judge, when you're in a courtroom, every word you say, every word you choose has significant meaning. That judge doesn't get to interject her personal opinion about what the prosecutors can and cannot do. If the prosecutors can't prove intent, then the jury will find these people not guilty. That's how trials work, you idiot. I don't know why you didn't learn that in law school, but that's how trials work. If the prosecutors aren't good enough to show what they want to show, then the defendants are found not guilty and they're free to go. This was not a bench trial. If it were a bench trial, the judge would be able to say that. But it's not. So this was a bastardization of justice here in the United States. This judge overstepped her bounds, and I genuinely hope that the prosecutors decide we're either going to appeal this or we're going to change up the charges and bring them as something else then, because they have the opportunity to do that. Right now, still kind of up in the air. The wounds are still fresh. But this judge overstepped her bounds. Christina Bobb's out there crying on TV about these idiots losing their homes. Good for the people losing everything. Bad on the judge. Hopefully the prosecutors get this back in court in front of a judge that's not going to interject her personal opinions about what the prosecutors may or may not be able to prove to a jury. Did you know that you might be missing out on wonderful content from me? I mean, you're here already because clearly you like what you see. So if you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video, share them with your friends and family, but also follow me across the rest of the social media world. And it's not that hard to do. Whether it's X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, on every one of those platforms, you can find me at the username @FarronBalanced. Simple enough, right? So get on it. And if you don't feel like going to each one of those outlets individually, lucky for you, we have links in the description of this video to take you right to my pages across all of social media. So don't miss a minute. And while you're at it, make sure you're also subscribed to the Ring of Fire YouTube channel, which I have been hosting for many, many years now. We've got more than 1 million subscribers over there, and there is fresh content over there every single day of the week. So again, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to this channel, and while you're at it, go subscribe to Ring of Fire at youtube.com/The Ring of Fire and @FarronBalanced across every social media platform that, of course, is not considered just a far-right hellscape. Well, maybe Twitter is, but that's a story for a different day.